Um, on behalf of Gil Borden Public Library and the Elgin Poet Laureate Project, I welcome you tonight. I'm delighted to see you here. And the first order of business is that we will have a few of the poets from my Monday night poetry group share a poem. It's a delight for me to work with them, and I hope it will be a delight for you to hear them. Let's start with Les. Would you like to go first?
All right.
Okay. Now, Les is something else. No, he never fails to amuse all of us. Okay, right over here.
Oh, okay.
Just stand right by me. I know it's ridiculous. Go over here.
Where should I stand?
Right by the mic.
Right here?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Can you hear him?
Yeah. I've got a bunch of short ones since we don't have much time. Okay, this one's called Penny Wears a Beard. Penny wears a beard, the same color as his skin, mostly zinc, I think. Brown Penny, you're cheap. My pocket's bald, yet freedom is worth every cent. Okay, here's another. It's called The Subway of Truth. Life is a sandwich, and each bite is a moment I regret not. As it shrinks, cherish the flavors, eat it. Life's short. Sandwich ought to know. Then here's one called Old Boring Marriage. Old boring marriage keeps on keeping on. Separate bedrooms, separate lives. Chainsaw cuts the house in half. She gets the kitchen. I get the front door. Hello? Want dinner? Go next door. But wait, there's no door. I own them all. Okay?
Thank you.
One more?
Okay, fine.
Okay. Okay, I'll wear it. She might have heard it. This is called Underwear. Pink, green, black, and white underwear hang on a line under the summer sun. I'm yawning in my gorgeous green thongs I bought at a garage sale where a cat killed mosquitoes by eating them. I paid $1 for 3. I read Charles Simic poetry and think, yeah, glad he was poet laureate. Is his underwear discreet and plain? Clothes are deceptive. Hides who we are by showing who we wish to be. Coyote runs across the street with a big thong in its teeth. I paid $1 for 3. That was before COVID. You know, $1 don't go as far as it used to. So
Thank you. See what I mean? And I always like the way he reads his stuff as well. You have something, Fernando? Okay. Fern. Short for Fernando. Okay.
So,
Stand right here.
is this good?
Yeah, but you don't have to bend down. Yeah, that's it.
Is this good? Ready?
Yeah.
This one's called Rainy Days and Blooming Faith. If flowers...
Just one poem. That's all.
Yep.
Okay.
If flowers praise the sky above, would they ask for rain to fall? In faith, they bloom on nature's love, for rain to answer their sylvan call. Ordained by the cardinal winds, dancing to the heartbeat of spring, the spotlight of the setting sun illuminates what is to come. Soon the stars and moon will lead the midnight sermon, and although sunflowers are last to bow, their gratitude feels certain. Maybe answers don't come from high above, nor onto our laps do they fall. Maybe growth and beauty come with faith and love, that rainy days will answer our wild call.
Thank you. Thank you, Fernando. Fern is a new member of our group, and I'm delighted to have him join us. Let's see. How about Elizabeth? And Irfan, be ready to come next, okay? Thank you.
I think that'll do it. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Whispers. Step quietly. Shh. Listen. Tiny noises to the left. No, to the right. All around me. All around you. Listen. Harder. Whispers, drum beats, battles, footsteps, cannons, swords, music. Explorers, scientists, dragons, horses, fairies, saints, sinners, and gods of old. Stories being told in the undercurrent of chattering silence. Voices and accents manifest and meld, mix and modify within the wisps of mist that waft through the quiet stacks in the library where the books are whispering.
Very nice. Thank you. How appropriate, Elizabeth. That's great. And here comes Irfan Sharif. Now, Irfan has the dubious distinction of having been with this group since 2012, right from the beginning. But no, you can't touch that. But you have to.
Can I sit down?
You can sit. You can definitely sit down, and I can definitely go like this. So you come close to me.
Okay. Maybe this is better.
Yeah.
The title is It is Time to Slow Down. It is time to slow down, stay mindful, watch the birds in the meadows, admire the flowers in the garden, chat with friends in the neighborhood, have a cup of hot tea, read an amazing book, play some relaxing music, sing your favorite song, go for a walk with your loved one, say how much you treasure her or him in your life. Cherish this present moment. There is more to life than making it go faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Irfan. So Irfan is a poet who likes to inspire people, and I think he does. And it's kind of neat. Okay, here we go. It would be nice to be the right way. In their footsteps. When I was young, I would read poems, seeking solace as magic words touched my spirit. I never tried to write my own poems, but I read them, loved them, and sometimes when I was lucky, a poet reached my soul. Now, reading poets without fail makes me want to write them. Not to batter Anne's barrage or stifle Sylvia's memory or trample over Amy's perfect flowers. No, not to be better than they or even as good, but simply to pour my own potion upon the page and hope to help someone, somewhere, reach her soul. So I'm going to do some of the old poems that no one's heard, unless they've seen my first chapbook. This one is one of my favorites. It's called Ode to Lasagna. Make lasagna, pretty please, begged my little girl. Your lasagna, Mommy dear's the best food in the world. I'll clean my room and set the table, do everything that I am able. If you'll listen to my plea and make lasagna just for me. Make lasagna, pretty please, begged my eldest son. Make lasagna, pretty please, chimed in the youngest one. We'll do the dishes, scrub the floor. We'll even close the bathroom door. We'll practice piano twice a day and put clean laundry straight away. We'll do our homework with no fuss. If you'll do this one thing for us, make lasagna pretty please with gobs of sauce and gooey cheese, with piles of buttered garlic bread. Tonight, we want to be well fed. For yesterday, we all had fish A smelly, horrid parent's dish. Today, dear Mom, please let us choose. How would you feel in our shoes? I smiled and kissed my children three, held the youngest on my knee. Lasagna sounds just fine to me. Would 2 pans be enough for you? So friends may come and have some too, with Coke for you and wine for me. A family party it'll be. Thank you, Mom, they cried with glee. They jumped and squealed in ecstasy and looked at me so lovingly. Lasagna sounds just fine to me. This is a poem I wrote for my eldest son. He is now 44. And it's for Dave at 14. So you know how old this poem is. Okay. You are a man now, moving towards 6 feet by your next birthday. Size 12 feet. Feet that are hungry for the best Nikes money can buy, even if we can't afford them. You are always hungry for food, for money, for time. You are always hungry for life, for adventure, for experience. You are always hungry for pizza, for fries, for burgers, for Italian beef sandwiches. You are always hungry for guys, for girls, for companionship, for love, for identity. You are hungry to be listened to and hungry to talk, but only when you want to. You are 14 and you are on target, always hungry, yet often late for dinner. And here's another one from the good old days. This is for Jamie at 5. Jamie is now 38. Dinosaurs, Transformers, bristle blocks, and more. Action figures, Hot Wheel cars, and Legos by the score. On the couch, on the table, lying on the floor. In the bathroom, in the kitchen, by the bathroom door. Everywhere, anywhere, behind the bookcase, near my chair. Little things to hurt bare feet. I never know just which treat of my dear sons I'll see. Kindergarten treasures, left especially for me. Why pick up my toys right now? He whines a mournful plea. I might need them before I sleep. And now I've got to pee. I watch him as he leaves my sight, rushing on his way. My source of laughter and delight each and every day. Time will pass and he will grow. Cars and girls will be his show. I'll walk barefoot, all alone, knowing that he'll soon be gone. So now I'll smile and let him be a kindergarten wonder, especially for me. I like to, thank you. I like to write poems for people, and this one's relatively new. I wrote it for my best friend Joy, and she cannot be here because she's at choir practice. And I did send her the poem the other day, though. It's called Simply for Joy. I do my thing and you do yours. Somewhere in the middle, we meet to smile and share a meal. Loving you is as natural as breathing, as comfortable as my favorite sweatshirt. I think of you in the spaces between my busyness, when I stop long enough to remember and be grateful for the gift of you in my life. This is called Garden at Sunset. It's from summer of 2020. And that was a really interesting summer because guess what? We weren't seeing people. We were just seeing our garden. Sweltering summer heat retreats as the sun slowly sets. I venture out to catch fading light, quenching thirst of nature's bounty. Water squirts swiftly through the garden hose. I spray my bare feet, savoring the pink sky as smells waft through the air. Mint and lemon thyme, sage, rosemary, and dill. Oregano overflowing, caressing red-rimmed lettuce. Parsley proliferating, nudging abundant basil. Cherry tomatoes glisten on the vines. Temptation knocks, luscious and ripe. Closing my eyes as juice oozes in my mouth. No need to save for salad. Guilt-free, I take another, gazing gratefully as orange and blue merge with pink on the horizon. Some of my poets are really into writing haiku, and I'd never written any haiku. You know, I feel, well, okay, Irfan is one of my poets who writes haiku. Marcia Gutierrez, who would be with us, except that she is in France, she's in the middle of her escapade. What is that called? That pilgrimage that they do that goes over the Pyrenees, you know, that's what she's doing. Okay, so here's a few that I tried to do, okay. These were spring ones. Spring comes on the wing of a sweet chirping robin. Rebirth fills the air. I know we need rain, yet the gray skies torment me. Please come back, spring sun. Rainbow after rain, colors caress the spring sky. My soul fills with light. Another one. See, these are not the greatest, but I wanted to try the form. A small crocus sprouts, bright yellow amidst brown soil, sweet foretaste of spring. And if you've never written any haiku or experienced them, it's a syllable thing. You have to have 5 syllables, then 7 syllables, then 5 syllables again. So it's a good challenge, and it makes you eliminate. And my whole work as a poet is, if in doubt, leave it out. And I can show you poems that are 6 pages long that wind up being a half a page. I did that recently, actually. I was on a tangent, and I just had all the stuff inside that I wanted to say, and I finally can use my hands. I had been unable to use my hands for such a long time, and I wrote 7 pages on my yellow legal pad, only to find out that only this small piece of it was worth it. But it's good, because the more you write, the better you get, and the more you let it go. I think that's the big advice I would give any young writer, is that you don't judge what you write. You just do it. Would you say that, writers out here? Just do it. Just do it. It's all you have to do. And, you know, this is a good moment for my favorite poem. A poem cannot be good or bad the way milk can be sweet or sour, or a berry ripe or green. A poem can only speak for itself, and if it reaches one person only, that is enough. That's it. I hate it when people say, oh, I can't write, or I don't want to write, I'm scared, or mine won't be any good. I say, do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Okay, here's one. I was taking an online workshop with a man named John Fox, so I would recommend to everybody. He wrote a great book called Poetic Medicine. And this particular workshop was about climate change. Okay, so this is what I wrote then. The trees are talking, Mommy, the little one said. The trees are talking, they really are. Don't be silly, Mama said. Trees don't talk. She went to Grandma. Grandma, the trees are talking, Grandma said. What are they saying? The trees are saying they're scared. They're very scared. I know, child, said Grandma. They are scared. They have reason to be, you know. They have reason to be. Grandma, it frightens me to hear them cry. I hear them moan in the night. I hear their tears falling on their leaves, drip, 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 drip. It makes me want to cry too. Oh, sweet child, we are all like trees, planted in our places. We all have roots that tie us down. I can't sleep, Grandma. I can't sleep when the trees cry. Neither can I, she replied. Neither can I. So I'm one of those people who had a great mom, okay? An amazing mother who was incredibly supportive. And this next two poems, one of them I wrote a while ago and the other one is recent, and they reflect what it is to have a mom who's supportive. My mama always told me I was born with the muse in my mouth. I did not heed her words. She was, after all, only my mother. What did she know? My mama always told me I was a gifted child, destined to share my gifts. I did not believe. She saw the best in me even when I failed. When I would rush to the typewriter in the middle of dinner, she would say, nothing. When I ripped up paper placemats in restaurants full of scribbled verse, she would say, nothing. I was a gifted child entitled to tolerance. Now that really dates me that it was a typewriter rather than a computer, okay? Yeah. Well, that's all they had, when I was young. I always say I would have been a way better writer if I'd had a computer. Okay, this one is very recent. Yes, did you have something, a question? No, oh yeah, the sun, okay. This one is very recent. I did read it one time before at something. It's called A Poem in My Pocket. I have a poem in my pocket. I wrote it yesterday. In the restaurant, a napkin, for I just couldn't wait. Words tapped me on the shoulder and creeped inside my head. They told me oh so loudly they needed to be said. So while others ate their burgers, a napkin was my friend. I scribbled so intensely I almost broke my pen. My mother sat there smiling with doting mother's eyes. She didn't say a single word, just sat and ate her pie. You have a poem in your pocket, she said when we got home. I didn't mean to be rude. I just had to write my poem. Ah, my precious daughter, rude you'll never be. You were born a writer. Please, read your words to me. And I can tell you that throughout my high school years, every single assignment that I had for English, every single one, she would sit with me as I would read it to her, and she would help me with punctuation. And by the time I graduated from high school, I mean, I did not make one mistake in punctuation. Not one. And I did the exact same thing with my daughter. Okay. She was amazing and wound up getting an 800 on her English SATs, you know, and now she's teaching English and drama at Northside College Prep in Chicago. I cannot emphasize how important mothers and grandmothers and family friends can be to young writers. The support that you can give them is absolutely amazing. And teachers, like there's Barbara Evans sitting there, and Marilyn House and Don Heffliger. Any other teachers that I've ignored? Yeah, what's your name? Beth. Okay, but we have another teacher over there. And you can do so much for your students just by being supportive. It's particularly important for teachers to be supportive when there's not that kind of support at home, you know? And I know how many young people I was fortunate enough to encourage in my lifetime. And now I encourage adults. That's even more fun. Here's one I'm including. It's another old one, but it was the poem. We'll wait a little bit. It's noisy. Okay. I'm just waiting about the sirens. The trains we can cope with, but the sirens. And you just hope nobody's been hurt. So this is a poem that opens my early chapbook, and it was the poem that made me know that I wanted to be a poet. Oh, muse, you come to me like a rush of frozen wind, sweeping my cheeks until they burn and turn red and swollen. You pierce my barren spirit when I least expect relief from months of empty pages and blank thoughts. I shiver with pain as frostbitten fingers tap on ice cube keys. Yet, in this most chilling of winters, I grow warm, standing naked in the snow. And I noticed that another one of my poets showed up. Ivory, would you like to read a poem as long as you're here? Come on down. We've missed Ivory because she started to work on Monday nights, so I'm delighted that you're here with us tonight.
It's good to see you.
Okay, why don't you come nice and close, okay?
Okay.
Try my microphone.
Oh, okay.
See, yeah, that's it.
All right, let me squat. Okay.
Okay, good girl.
This is called, hi everyone. This is called At My Big Age. At my big age, I realize even though it's not the 1800s, I'm still a slave to social media and BS. At my big age, I realize why it's important to have self worth and confidence. Am I? Okay.
You're doing great.
I'm not sure. If y'all can hear me? Okay, good.
We just can see your face as well, so see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a girl.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
At my big age, I realize why it's important to have self worth and confidence, to love and appreciate who you are and what you have, because there are far too many people with nothing. Some will be enlightened, and some, if you don't steer clear, will help you lose everything. All my big age, I know nothing. But all my big age, I learned that I know nothing. And I learned that nothing is easy. No matter who you are in this life, you are always going to go through something. Loss, heartbreak, sickness, being broke, feeling hopeless. That's life. That's everything. Just found that all out at my big age. Oh. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh.
I'm gonna cry.
No, don't.
Um,
My big age. I'm getting up there.
yeah. Not like me.
But I want to. All of us.
So, whoopsie daisy. I wrote a lot of poetry during the pandemic. And this is what I didn't share the last time I shared my pandemic poems. And before my term is through, I sincerely hope that I can have maybe in December a reading of poems by everybody who wrote poems during the pandemic. You know, I think that would be a really good closing program for me as I move on in January, when I just help people and I don't have to write poems on command. Okay, so this one is called Love is Intense. Love is intense, more now than ever. I feel it in my bones, my muscles, my heart, my mind. Across cyberspace, I embrace my friends. I throw kisses at my grandchildren as tears form in my eyes. I've been brave so long. Finally, the veneer is cracking. Perhaps because it is a time with no end. No end we can see or feel. I can feel love on Zoom. Intensity overwhelms me when I sign off, leaving my loved ones without hugging them goodbye. A few friends visit outside, at least 6 feet away, masked, except to take surreptitious sips of their beverage, turning away from others to take a few bites of food. I try hard not to think of frigid winter days when communing outside won't be practical, when even short visits will be deterred by inclement weather. The pain of love encompasses me, unfulfilled by virtual contact, yet so grateful for technology. So we are getting to the serious part of the program. This one is a poem I just felt like writing in 2022 for Mother's Day. I just thought I ought to write a Mother's Day poem, and I put it on Facebook. Happy Mother's Day to all who have nurtured others along the way, who have listened to children's patter, encouraged them to talk, sharing their young dreams. Happy Mother's Day to those who have never given birth in body, yet have done so in spirit, adopting orphans, housing refugees. Happy Mother's Day to those who have given guidance to teens, mentoring minions in their careers, calming their fears. To those who have been a mother bear without bearing a baby. To teachers and clergy, to neighbors and friends, to nurses and doctors, first responders and school counselors, to aunties and nannies, to sisters and soulmates, to all who keep vigil, to the village that never sleeps. Happy Mother's Day to single fathers struggling daily to be both parents. Happy Mother's Day to same-sex couples risking censure, raising their children. Happy Mother's Day to those who understand thoughts unspoken. For what is it to be a mother? To give without getting. To reach inside and share the best of who you are. For motherhood means unconditional love. Here's a poem. It was included in one of my FemProv plays, which was called My Mother Always Told Me. And it's still around if anybody wants it for a Mother's Day. We've done it for several groups because of that. And come January, I just might have time. Anyway, this one is called To a New Mother. You hold her warm and close, protecting her from the world. She cannot yet imagine. Her body feels so right. As you hold her in your arms, you revel in her essence. You feel her chubby little hand, smooth, soft baby skin brushing your cheek as she grabs your hair. You see yourself in the loving mirror of her crystal blue eyes. Motherhood becomes you like baby's breath becomes roses. Your Madonna face reflects a peace hoped for only in a dream. So these are poems that no one's heard yet. A few, anyway. They're relatively recent. This one is called Flower in the Wind. I am like a flower in the wind. My petals struggling to survive as gusts encircle me. I long for shelter from the torrent, for I know the rain is coming. Will it knock me down? Will I be torn up from the roots? I can only hope that my seeds, scattered on wet ground, will yield new plants, and I will rise like a phoenix, my plant more lush than before. This one is called Shattered, and it comes from a time when as I mentioned before, I really had to dictate everything. The fact that I could not use my right hand and I had to dictate everything made me learn something different about poetry than I really understood before. And it is internally getting the rhythm of something. Anyway, so if I would suggest that all poets, if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, is don't allow yourself to write it. Just talk it and see what happens. And that's what the rappers do. I mean, they talk to themselves. And it was a useful technique for me in this particular poem. It's called Shattered. I feel tattered and shattered. My thoughts are scattered. I was sure I was fine, that I had turned the corner, ready to move on, doing the things that I need to do without you. But the fact remains, your steadiness and support are gone. I must be the one to keep myself steady, and sometimes it's hard. So I am tattered and shattered and scattered, my brain matter turning to mush as I follow a new pattern in my life without you. So it's all those words that rhyme that somehow happen when I'm talking to myself. So it's kind of interesting. This one is called Listening to the Silence. As I was looking through my poems to prepare for tonight, I found this half-written poem, and so I finished it. It's that time of night before sleep. I close my eyes and listen to the silence. I breathe deeply and hear my breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I feel my heart beating as I breathe. I yawn. I exhale, the only noise I hear. I open my eyes, and it's still silent. I am alone, but not lonely, as I revel in the peace of sweet silence. I hear the sound of your voice in my mind, grumbling about not tasting your food, yelling at Trump on TV, cursing when you crash into something with the walker you don't want to need. I push away the good sounds so I won't cry. Your strong bass voice singing behind me in the choir, your varied tones reading to our grandson, your low chuckle as you share a cartoon from the New Yorker, our hearty shared laughter. I hear your animated voice telling stories to comrades in that sacred space reserved for those who lived good lives. As for me, I listen to the silence. I listen to the silence, treasuring my solitude, convincing myself being alone is okay. So, people ask, what does a poet laureate do? And I'm going to share a few of the poems that I wrote during my term, and some are better than others, but they're poems that I wrote because I was poet laureate, not necessarily as assignments. You will get at least one that was an assignment, but these were things that I thought I ought to write. This is something I wrote right away when I first, it says January 2022. Let my words celebrate Elgin, my city, my chosen home. Let my words celebrate Elgin and its people. Let my words celebrate diversity, promoting understanding. May citizens of every color, faith, ethnicity, and gender orientation feel proud as words of celebration pass my lips. May I find the words to understand my city, its past and its present. May I find the words to look to the future with hope. May I find the words to praise my city with insight and poetry's delight. May I find the words to resound with gratitude, striving to grow and learn, listening to the pulse of our city. This one is another silly one, but I like it. Called Poems Are Alive in Elgin. Poems are alive in Elgin. You just have to look for one. You will find a poem on the banks of the Fox River, in the red maple outside your window, in the creek at Lord's Park, in the children walking home from school, in the city council chamber, at the symphony. Poems are alive in Elgin. How many can you find? You can find a poem anywhere. All you have to do is look. And when you see one, don't let it go. Let your words flow. For poems are alive in Elgin. I've always been fond of the painted ladies, those houses, you know, with many colors. So I wrote this one. Painted ladies are so pretty, a crowning glory of our city. They win awards every year, making it absolutely clear that Elgin can compete. A complete paint job takes much time. Intricate patterns of multicolored hues adorn majestic homes. A painstaking task to do it well, armed with scaffolds and ladders, meticulous with every brushstroke. Smaller homes take their cue. Are we done? Echoing the trend. Two colors of paint just won't do. It's a joy to drive around town, finding homes of many colors. They grace our city with their beauty, honoring history with a contemporary flair. Just another reason to love Elgin. Mm-hmm. So I noticed some of you are getting tired in the air here. I'm gonna read a poem that many of you probably haven't heard because it was done at the Interfaith Thanksgiving service. Okay, and this is one that I was asked to do, and I did it, and I didn't mind doing it at all. So that's why you're hearing it, okay? No, seriously, a lot of the poems are such a challenge. This one wasn't as hard a challenge as some others. 3 words in a large tulip-shaped teacup. Just 3 words. Just inside when you lift your cup to take a sip. 3 words in black script inside the white cup. Enjoy the journey. I smiled, knowing what my niece meant, giving me that large tulip-shaped teacup with room for 12 or more ounces of my favorite herbal tea. Imprinted inside, just below the rim, a reminder to treasure life. Journey but a metaphor for my lifetime. Imagine you too have such a cup. This cup, a precious gift, a solid reminder that life is to be savored even when it tastes bitter. A reminder to let scalding tea sit and steep until it's still hot enough to warm your throat, but not burn your tongue. To be patient, knowing deep inside that your travels through time and space have purpose, that you are not alone. A reminder to let gratitude to our Creator permeate your being. So I'm going to end with this poem. I have lots of others. I have a whole other folder in here. But I'm going to end with this one because it's the poem that I wrote as poet laureate that affected me the most and that meant the most to me personally. It was the opening of the exhibit of Violins of Hope. A pink sun smiles. Time to take his violin from its worn case. His dreaded morning ritual awaits. Time to play tunes that might help him survive, that might keep him alive another day. In the cold morning air, he shivers and wiggles his stiff fingers, stomach churning, weak from hunger. Holding on to his sanity by a thread, he joins his comrades. Deep misery in his pores as he prepares to perform on command, while watching others march to the gas chambers. Numb to the pain, he must succumb to the abuse of his talent. He lifts his bow, trying to imagine playing as a boy, remembering his first recital, joyfully making his violin sing at his daughter's wedding. Ah, such intense sadness, such mental torture. Yet endure it he must. His choice is to die or to play. Will this be a day his captors play a game, randomly choosing a few of his fellow musicians, shooting them before his eyes? Will he be one of those chosen? Will this be the day he sees his beloved wife marching to her death? The SS guards sadistically sneer and smirk, smoking cigarettes as the music plays. And so begins another day. Each violin of hope has a story. Each violin once belonged to someone who loved her. From virtuosos and orchestras to those in klezmer bands, the uniting factor? Joy in making music. Joy in joining their souls with their instruments, as each as unique as its owner. Today, we honor those musicians and their stories, knowing that the resurrection of these precious violins symbolizes optimism. As the instruments travel all over the world, exhibited and played at concerts, the violin's voices sing a sharp reminder. 6 million persecuted and perished. Valuing each violin, treasuring the memory of those who played them, brimming with gratitude for their loving and painstaking restoration, we listen as the strings sing. Never again. Never again. Never again. Thank you. Now that was a poem that was written without hands. It was a poem that was talked and talked and talked and talked. I had no hands when I wrote it. So just goes to show. But so any of you out there who might want to, have a crack at thinking about being poet laureate, it's a wonderful challenge, but it takes something. You have to really want to be able to be disciplined about what you do and concentrate hard on it. So thanks all of you so much for coming. It's great that you're here. And we will, are you seeing any sunset behind me yet? No. Huh? It's down, yeah. Well, I wanted to quit while there was still some light. And me, I could read forever. But I think the air is making everybody yawn. So how many poems can you hear without yawning? So oh, you're very welcome. It was a great opportunity for me. And
Very nice selection.
thank you. You're very welcome.